objects in ES6. First, we come to this folder and we'll create a file. In the source code folder, we create a file 9.objects.js, and we import that this JS file to the index.js. We run the server here. As you can see, it compiles successfully. So log this is source folder 9.objects.js. Okay, yeah, it's running. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is object attribute shorthand. So suppose there is object, it's called object1, and name vehicle age 28 console log object1. Yes, vehicle and 28. What if the attribute's value is a variable? Let's just declare it here after the object declaration. See what happened. So suppose name is vehicle. Age 28. So pass the name here, pass the value age. See, it's on defend, right? Yeah, it should be on defend because you need to initialize this to variable before you use it in the object. So vehicle 28. What does the shorthand mean? So if suppose that key of this object is the key and has the same name as a variable's name, so you can just write it in this way. As you can see, it works fine, right? So if the case value and the variable's name is same, you can just write the name independently. You don't have to write the variable name again, right? So this is the shorthand of object attribute. So second is key of object is a variable. What does this mean? So suppose there is object 2 name vehicle and age 28 school. Suppose it's set. Let's do UFC. Alright. So figure age, school, UFC. So what if this key, this key, this attribute, this key is also a variable? So let's do school equal to college. And if we want to pass this college to the object as the key of this attribute, so it should be bracket, square bracket, school. Now this is a variable here. So say college UFC, right? College. So this thing is this square bracket make the school, the key of this attribute, variable, right? So 3 is function of function shorthand. So what if there is a function in the object obj3 name vehicle age 28, and there is a function called study, and in ES5 we do it this way. So log like this name is starting. First we let's display the name the function first. Object3 study. Yeah, function is here, and this function. See, vehicle is starting, but this is undefined. Why is undefined? Log. It should works fine. So in this way, so we have just learned arrow function yesterday, I remember. So what if we give it or read that into arrow function still? See, cannot read property name of undefined. Property name of the undefined. Because so the reason why is that arrow function has no this, right? Cannot read the name of the undefined because this is undefined, right? So our function cannot find the obj3 because our function cannot just has no this, right? So what we want to do in the ES6, if you want to use the shorthand, you can write it in this way. Just study and bracket. You can write this way. So vehicle is studying, it's still working, right? I don't understand why it display undefined. Just comment it out for the moment. We're gonna talk about object is. So what is object is? So everybody knows that. Let's do this. So 2 equal to 2 is true because the value of these two variables are same, right? If we do equal, it returns false. Because if you have 3 equal, you have 3 equal operator, it means that you check both the value of the variable and the type of the variable. So this one is a number and this one is a string, right? So this one, these two equal operator only check the value. The value are same. It is 2, right? So what does object is do? Check 2 variables strictly. it means that object is equal. So suppose if you do 2 and 2, object is yeah, just do it. Okay. So log this object to 2. Sorry, comma. Yeah, return false, right? Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. So suppose there are 2 objects, object 4 and object 5. Let's do imagine, so what do you think if we compare these 2 objects? Let's do object obj4, obj5, obj4, obj5, obj4 and return false. Why return false? We have discussed this before. So in the curly bracket, every time we get a new object in the curly bracket, these attributes are stored in the heap memory. And okay, so object is a reference data type. Content of object stored in the heap memory, whereas the name of the object is a reference stored in the stack memory. So pass these 2 objects as a parameters. They compare. Object is compare it strictly. It compares the content of this. It compare the address of these 2 objects. So even though the content of these 2 objects are same, but the address of the content is like the name and the age, but the reference, the addresses are different. Yeah, every time you just new you have just new object. So they are actually different. So what if we wanna make it same? We wanna return true. We can do object 4 equal to object 5. Now they have the same address, right? So it means that this address of this name and age, and address of this content, name and age are different. Now we point it to the same address, so they are same right now. So we just return that again. Yeah, it's true right here. So 5. Merge 2 object. When we talk about the merge, we're gonna talk about spread operator first, why we talk about this? So first, obj6 equal to, let's do ABC. C. Seven, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So suppose there is a light object 8. We can do this is spread parameter. We copy this object to the object 8. Copy 6. So this is object 8. Say 4, 5, 6, right? Again, there is object. We use this time. This is spread up. Rest up. Object 9. Object 7. Okay. 4, 5, 6. So either you use rest or spread a parameter. You can just copy the object. So how to merge that? We have talked about this before as well. So like object 10 equal to object 6 object object 7. Object 10. So you only got a 4, 5, and 6. Why? Because object 6 and object 7 have attribute A and a B and a C, which means the second parameter attribute covered the first one. So the second covered first. So because object 6 is 1, 2, 3, and object 7 is 4, 5, 6, we pass in this way. Pass these two parameters in this way, 6 and 7. So what if I pass the 7 and 6? 1, 2, 3, right? So the second parameter covered the first. So basically, Object.assign has the same function that object 11. Object 7. Let's do 6. Object 7. 11. Sorry. So yeah, you can see 4, 5, 6. Obviously, the 7 covered 6, right? So the way they merge the merge two objects. So suppose there is another D 4. So this time it won't be covered, right? So 4, D and 4. So you can see it here. It only cover the attributes with the same K, right? Same K name. Right? Merge these two. Let's do in. What does in do? In check this. So suppose there is object twice name vehicle page 28 and let exist equal to name in object twice. So if name attribute exists and object twice exists false. It should be true. Why? What happened? Suppose we do it this way. Existing object twice. False. Name attribute should be in the object twice. Did I write it wrong? In the N and H, let's check H. Why it doesn't exist? Okay. Let's remove this. Oh, okay. So the attribute must be in the code, in the single code. Okay. I'm just, yeah. Okay, let's do. See, it's true. This is a little bit tricky, so you have to write that in between the code. Right, true and true. What if H? False, right? So in keyword, this in keyword can check if this attribute exists in this object. It's based on the same logic as we have talked about this before. Suppose there is an array and the array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so log 1 in array true. This one check the index. If the index in the in the range of the array, and this one check the key and must instead of a single code. So the last thing is object traversal, right? Again, so ES5 for let k for in. This is the most traditional way, right? Let's do object 21 name equal hello world. What a great age. 28 in object 21, and what we can do is we can display this k. This is for in k object 21k. This is for in name hello world what grade age 28, right? So it works. In Es6 there are several ways you can do the traversal as well. The first thing is object keys object 21 and for each function, this function accepts a parameter is case, so same thing. This is object keys. Key is not a define. Okay. All right, object keys. Another way is Object.getOwnPropertyNames. Object for each. This time we use the new way to write it. We use an arrow function, right? Just we talked about before. Just as we talked about before. Get own property names. The last one is reflect dot own keys opposite 21 dot for each k arrow function reflect object at own property object keys and for in. These are 4 ways to traverse the object. Okay, this is pretty much everything about object today.